Good morning, everybody. I still have like gravelly morning voice because I haven't been up very long. I'm going to have to go and grab my coffee too. And there's, of course, Remy back there. Yes! I want to put the camera closer, but I need it plugged in or it'll die. We can't have that. I wanted to put it closer, but it has to be plugged in or it'll die. I didn't have enough charge on it. Hello, Lincoln Central Coins. Miss Southern Belle Raid. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Just kidding. How are you doing this morning? I would show myself, but like I said, I basically just woke up, so I look hideous. So I'd rather you see the bird or something. Hello, everybody popping in. Hello, hello. Do not claw that. Gotta yell at the cat. She's clawing the bed. Big no-no. Stop. Hello, Miss Southern Belle. Hello, Victoria Roman Carter. I could probably go ahead and let him out of his cage, but then he won't stay in necessarily one place. He's a Quaker parrot. I'd have to move the camera around to follow him if, because he does have his flight feathers, so he does fly around. Like he'll go to the window. Sometimes he'll come over to me. He likes to come over to me. When I was dealing with the worst of shingles, he was angry. He has plucked, so he kind of looks funny because his neck is naked. But he was mad at me while I had shingles because I wasn't letting him out. Because he was always wanting to fly over to me, and landing on me was very painful. So he was cooped up for 2 weeks, and he was mad. Hello, Fordman, aka Kenneth Oaks. Welcome, welcome. Kingsport, Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee, but not there. Yeah, see, he wants to come out of the cage. I'm gonna have to turn the ceiling fan off because I'm always worried that when he flies through the room, he's gonna get himself caught up in it, and we don't want that to happen. So let me turn that off. I know you want out. I know you. Yes, you do. He's spoiled. But yeah, Miss Southern Belle's always saying how many like I've got all these animals, and I do. Just in my bedroom here, there's His name is Remy, the Quaker parrot. And I've got a corn snake in here and a bearded dragon, baby bearded dragon, and a baby corn snake. Then I have an animal room, and everybody else besides my dogs and cats. I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, but in my animal room I have other things. I have hissing cockroaches. I have hermit crabs. I have 3 ball pythons, another corn snake, a hamster, a rabbit, 6 rats. I think 5 rats now, because I sent one home with my son because one of his rats passed away, which meant that his other rat would be alone, and she's already old. And they can suffer from depression and loneliness and all of that when they're suddenly alone. So I sent one of my rats home with him, that his rat knew. They've been housed together before, so that she's not alone, so he doesn't lose her suddenly too. And then I've got a hamster in there and guinea pigs in there. And then downstairs in the living room, I have a leopard gecko. So lots going on. Good morning, Mr. J. Good morning, Chappie. Good to see everybody this morning. This was kind of an impromptu, very quick decision to go live. Of course, Miss Southern Belle was like, you should go live. And I literally, when I popped into her live, I had literally like gotten myself out of bed. So that's why I am invisible. All right, ceiling fan is off. You want to come out? Here he comes. Yeah, it doesn't take long. You probably saw me, didn't you? Oh, Lord. Hello, say hello. Say hello. How are you doing? He says, what are you doing? He says, what a good boy. He says, yeah. He laughs. He's like, ha 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 ha. He oinks. He quacks. He's started to cock-a-doodle-doo. He kind of counts. He doesn't say the numbers, but he'll count with me, like he'll chirp along with my counting. Thinks he's counting. What else do you say? He dances to, or he'll run around on the cage in excitement when he hears the song September, which I can't play because obviously I'll have a copyright strike, but he loves that. Don't ya? Yes? Yeah? What a good boy. He'll also typically fly over to me when I snap my fingers. I don't have to call him. I just have to snap my fingers and he'll fly over to me because he's a good boy. Hey, Zach. I've got my own animal shelter. Yeah, and a lot of them were rescues. I mean, I got some from where I work at the pet store, but some of them were rescues from the pet store. They were surrenders. So, and some of them weren't taken care of properly. Thanks for coming in, Chappie. Have a wonderful day. Hey, Gemma. Hey, David. How y'all doing today? I need to get me my coffee, guys. You think you can do without me for a couple minutes while I run down there and get my coffee? You can stare at him. Maybe he'll start talking, because usually when I leave the room, that's when he starts getting louder. I need my coffee, guys. I'll be right back, okay? I will be right back, I promise. Yeah. You keep them company. This is your live stream for a couple minutes, okay? Yeah? You keep them company. Oh, well, now you're on the window and I gotta move the Jiminy Christmas. All right, guys, I will be right back. He's on the window. I'll move the camera when I get back if he's still there. Oh. All right, I'm back. Hi. All right. He'll come over to me when I open the door too. All right, yeah. All right. Let's see. How you doing, everybody? No dirty dishes? There's one dirty plate in the sink, and it's because it was my stepson's dirty plate, and he hasn't washed it. We have this rule now that when you're done with your dishes, when it hits the sink, you wash it right away. And he's already slacking. You can see my house coat, everything on my my nice cushy house coat. How was everybody's weekend? Father's Day, all of that jazz. We celebrated Father's Day on Saturday when my husband was here, and he had to leave and go out of town yesterday for work, and he'll be back this weekend, which is the shortest time that he's been away since he got this new job. Ah, yes, it's late there, David. Oh, coffee. It'll wake up my voice, my vocal cords too, so I don't have morning gravelly voice. And the dog is going crazy on the bed. She started barking when I was gone because she's stranded up here. She's a Shih Tzu, and she does not have the ability to jump off the bed or onto the bed. So when she's on the bed, she's stuck there. I told my husband we need to get her a set of stairs for the side of the bed. Weekend was awesome. That's always good to hear. I got to see my dad yesterday. Good. I didn't get to see mine. Mine's in Canada. I'm in the US in Indiana. My parents live in Canada, so I did not get to see my dad. Because even if I wanted to go, even if I could travel there, the border is closed. And they have a little bit of a spike of COVID. So, like during the school year, my niece and my nephew were schooling mobily because they're not doing in-school teaching right now. And if I was going to cross the border into Canada, they would have me quarantined for 2 weeks. And that's usually the whole amount of time that I'm there, which would suck. So I didn't get to see them last year because of COVID, and I'm probably not going to get to see them this year because of COVID. It's been really hot here too. Like last week, there was 2 days where I actually took advantage of being outside because it was like in the 70s. Now he's on me, guys. Oh, there he goes. But I took advantage of being outside because it was in the 70s and it was perfect. So right below him is the bearded dragon tank, and that little critter keeper right now has my baby corn snake in it till I upgrade. Right now it's plenty of space for her because she's tiny. She's like the diameter of a pencil. But what was I saying? I forget now. Hey Ginger, how you doing? Oh yeah, so I spent time outside because it was perfect weather. It's what I was used to. There wasn't really any humidity. I was enjoying being outside, and then boom, it got real hot again. We did have a storm yesterday morning, and we had a storm through the night during the night last night or early this morning. But we needed the rain after all that heat. I'm gonna have to go check on my fish tub, make sure that not a lot of rain got in there so that they overflow. We don't want overflow. Oh, hang on, guys. I got a work question. I'm just responding, guys. It's a work question. All right. Because the lead kennel person is quitting, and she would like me to be able to do Friday mornings. That's usually what she does. And she wants me to do Friday mornings rather than having someone brand new put in there, because Friday mornings are very involved. It's when we get our new animals in and we have to do the paperwork and stuff like that. And she'd rather not try. Friday's her last day, and she'd really rather not train the new person the last day that she's there to do that. She said, I would much rather have someone that knows what they're doing. She said, you do a really great job, and I'd rather have you there than training somebody to do that. And I was like, that's fine. When I'm cutting my hours, I only want to work Friday and Saturday, but I did say that I'm willing to work open to close both of those days. That gives me, a good chunk of hours just for those 2 days, but that will allow me to do Friday morning and do the intake for those animals. So I responded, and she's going to be really excited about that. She's been there for like 8 years, and she's really like struggling with leaving, but it's definitely time for her. And my husband thinks I should quit too, but I was like, I don't want to completely quit, but I definitely need to slash my hours. Like I have 40 hours next week, and or this week I have 40 hours, and it's too much for me with my nerve pain and not being able to see my husband when he's in town. So um he'll be home this weekend and I'm working on Saturday all day, but when he's out of town but he's closer, I can actually travel the few hours to go and see him, so it's not as big a deal. So not working all week except for those 2 days will allow me that freedom to do that. Plus I won't be dealing with trying to get through a workday with all that nerve pain. What are you doing up there, Rams? He might be upset when we take that tree down. My husband said he was going to be making an appointment with the company that took our one tree down on the side of the house, and this is the front of the house. So we're going to be taking down that tree as well. He likes to stand there. He probably watches the traffic too, but there are usually birds in the tree. And that reminds me that I made a video about a baby bird that I found on my doorstep. He didn't make it. He did pass away. He passed away the next day that evening. So I tried, guys, but whoops. Oh no, I just splattered coffee on my keyboard. Hold on. I gotta save my keyboard. This is a new laptop. Good Lord. Ah, hold on. Lord have mercy. My knee hit the tray. Okay, I think I got it. All right. But yeah, so yeah, poor little baby bird didn't make it. She said, okay, cool, thanks, homie. I'm her homie. Yeah, she was basically kennel manager, and she's like, it's time to move on. And I'm like, dang. I was like, I had already told them that I wanted to cut my hours, and then she's leaving, and I was like, that doesn't change anything, guys. You still have to cut my hours, even though we're still down a person, because my husband said, you either do that, you either cut my hours to what I want, or I'm out. So they were given an ultimatum. So what is everybody up to? It's kind of quiet. It says there's 10 people. I've got one dog on one side of my bedroom door and the cat laying on in here at the door, sticking her feet underneath to tease the dog. it 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 gets amusing in this house sometimes. It really does. And then Bella, my Shih Tzu, is on the bed. She's happy now that she's not left here. Well, let's hope. Let's hope it's working out, because I was told after I had said this is what I want to do, then one of the managers was like, I may be able to, after you, he was like, can you hang it? Because I wanted my hours cut already. But he was like, well, can you hold out until she's trained? This new person is trained, which means, with the exception of today and Friday, I'm training her the rest of the time. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I can do that. And he was like, and then after that, I may be able to get you down to 3 or 4 days a week. And I was like, nope, I asked for 2. 3 or 4 is not what I'm asking for. And my husband said, you tell him it's the 2 days I asked for, or I'm out. I quit. So, and he was like, he says, It's not open for discussion. So you tell him that's the way it is. And if they don't want to lose you, they're going to give you those 2 days. Like, really, at this point, do you want to lose me completely, or are you going to at least give me my 2 days? You don't want to lose me. You feel like you can't cut my hours down to what I'm asking, but the alternative is losing me completely. So and I don't want to leave completely because I get a good discount and I have a lot of animals to feed and take care of. I got to buy bulbs for the bearded dragon tank. I got to buy heat mats. Like, I have heat mats, but I need to buy more heat mats if they stop working. I got to buy food for everybody. Toys toys for them when they destroy. I'm going to have to get another Timothy Hay hide for the guinea pigs because they completely destroyed the one that they had. There's ongoing costs with them, and I want my discount for that because woo. I am taking in the lead kennel's rats. She has 2 rats, but they are both elderly, so I won't have them for very long. I really doubt it. Simone and Parker are their names. And when I started working at the pet store 2 years ago, Simone was called Simon because we didn't know she was a girl, but she had been a feeder rat that had escaped from the bin and basically lived she was our resident kennel rat. She lived in the kennel. We rarely saw her. Occasionally you'd get a glimpse of her. But she lived back there for months. Like probably 6 months, I was told. So she was already loose back there when I started, and I'd caught a couple of glimpses of her. And eventually she got captured. Well, I've been there for 2 years now, guys. So she's almost 3. She's almost 3 years old, and 2 to 3 years is a lifespan for a rat. Occasionally they can live longer if they're exceptionally healthy, but they start to really slow down when they get to the age that she's at, if they're not already gone. My son has a rat that's 2.5, and she is slowing down. So Parker is a little bit younger than Simone, but Simone is definitely approaching 3. But since she's going to be losing her discount and she already has a hedgehog, or whatever, and she knows that her rats will be in great care with me, she asked if I would take them, and I told her I would, and she's going to give me all their stuff. So they're going to come and live with me for their last days, however long that is. Oh, I'm hoping so. They had to do with that. Even being short-staffed, they had to do without me for 2 weeks when I had shingles. If they could do that, and they managed, I mean, everybody was really happy that I was back. A lot of the salespeople were like, "We're so happy you're back." And the kennel person, the lead kennel, "I'm so happy you're back." So they do value me there, which is nice. It feels good to be valued. I mean, I just don't feel like I'm valued pay wise because this new person got hired in at $3 more an hour than me. And that kind of sucks. And that's one of the reasons why the lead kennel is leaving, because she makes, after being there for 8 years, she makes what this person got hired in at. And she was like, "Well, if you're going to hire her in at that, I need a raise. I haven't had a raise in 3 years." And they said they'd think about it. And she was like, so she put in her notice because she was like, that's just bull. That's bull. So they're losing good people because they're not willing to adjust the pay for us, but they're hiring people in with no experience at more than what we're making. So that's not cool. That's not cool. I mean, that girl's been there for 8 years. She's been the lead kennel for 8 years, and she's leaving because they're not willing to adjust for her. So Fridays will be a little stressful for me because I know how busy Fridays are. Like Fridays, she's got her stuff to do, prepare for the new dogs to come in, prepare for other small animals to come in. And then she's got to do the paperwork for the dogs and get them out on the wall. And they're usually on hold for a couple of hours so they can settle in before people start seeing them. Get the hamsters out, the rabbits out, the guinea pigs out. Any small animals that we get have to be put out, and all that paperwork, their tags go out and everything. That's all going to be on me. When normally that would be her, and I would come in later in the day for my evening shift, which didn't involve that because it was already done. So Fridays are going to be a little different for me after this week, I guess. But it's not like I haven't done the intake of animals before. Usually Fridays are when we get them, but there are occasions when during the week when I'm there, even in the evening, or like when I work Tuesday and Thursday mornings, they'll be like, we're getting a few puppies today, or they're sending in a couple of rabbits or whatever, and I've done their intakes. So it's not like I don't know how to do it. I just haven't done a Friday morning with it. Hey, Carolyn, how you doing? I would definitely be coming to your lives more if they weren't so early in the morning. I'm always sleeping and I catch I'll pop in. I don't always say anything, but I'll pop in like at the tail end of it or something, or I'll miss it completely. I'm not a morning person very well. A lot of jobs don't value what their people do. If your people are important to you, a raise should be exactly, exactly. Like if you're willing to pay this new person that much, why can't you adjust the pay for the people that have been there, that have been loyal to you? That's how you lose good people. I mean, I know a lot of places are hiring and at a higher rate because at a higher rate of pay because they're desperate right now because everywhere is hiring everywhere. But show some appreciation to who's already there and who's been sticking with you, because if you are not going to adjust their pay and the newest people are going to be making more, how is that fair? It's not fair. But that's how, like, they want everybody to keep their pay confidential, but technically that's not even allowed. They want you to keep your pay confidential so that they can do that. We'll pay this person more, but these people aren't going to know about it, so it's okay. But technically, you're not supposed to. You can't require people to stay silent about their pay because, I think it was my husband had talked to somebody who said that's actually not allowed, but companies do it because they want to be able to get away with doing that. And yes, animal care does not pay well, but they should. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Those animals' lives are in your hands. They definitely should pay better. Because I do healthcare with them to a degree as well. Like we do have a vet come in to check on the dogs, usually every week. Sometimes it's every 2 or whatever, but they're always coming in and checking on the dogs. They come in and do their vaccines. If we have a dog that ends up, if we have a dog that ends up with a cough or snot or something like that, they do get treated. And when I work, I administer their medications. They get taken care of, and we got to do it right. It's important to do it right. Yeah, It is. It's kennel, like some of our salespeople. I know our salespeople work hard, and I've seen how stressed out they can get because customers can be rude as. Mm, but and I don't think they necessarily appreciated what Kennel did until they've had to kind of cover for it. Like, if a kennel person couldn't be there, they would clean the wall in the morning, the wall of dogs. They would clean the wall of dogs first thing in the morning because every dog is pooped. Um, all of that has to be cleaned up in the morning before we open, and other stuff in the morning. And then they realize just how time consuming and physical it is. And they're like, okay, I appreciate you a lot more now. Hey, Nez, how are you doing? Oh, yeah, single mom. 15 years and she doesn't get, wow, 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 wow. That's crazy. I have a friend who works at the animal clinic that I actually take my dogs and cats to. And she went to vet tech school. And I guess sometimes they do on the job training, so you don't necessarily have to go to school for it. And I thought about it, but then I thought, she has to euthanize, she has to do blood draws, and I'm not good with needles. And I would bawl my eyes out if I had to euthanize somebody. So I'm like, I don't know if I can actually do it. I mean, I would love to be able to work in that field, but I don't know if I could do it. And like some of you know that a couple of weeks ago, one of my very first rat that I ever had passed away on her birthday. I have a memorial video of her up. Well, 2 days ago, my son's rat passed away. She was probably about 2 years old, but she had it a little rough. She was a surrendered rat. She had been picked up by her tail and it was degloved, which means that the skin on the end of her tail, up until wherever she was being held, the skin ripped off and exposed the bone, which is very painful for a rat. And at that point, she couldn't be sold, so I was told, you can have her if you want her. And my son took her in, took her to the vet the next day. That part of her tail, that exposed part of her tail, was amputated. She was such a happy rat. Loved to snuggle, loved to give kisses. Why? How do you pronounce your name? Wyo? Woo? Yeah, it's very, very painful for them. But even when she was in pain and we were trying to stop the bleeding and all of that, she was very well behaved. She didn't try and bite. But such a happy rat. And then after a little while, she started getting a mammary tumor. A mammary tumor started growing. It didn't seem to bother her, so we just, a lot of the times they're not going to be cancerous necessarily. So we just left her, but eventually it kept growing to the point that it was affecting how she could walk. So my son, bless his little heart, took her to the vet, paid the money to have her put under and have the tumor removed. They didn't know if she'd be able to have proper use of her leg after all that. Her muscle would be all stretched out and everything. But she did wonderfully. She healed up wonderfully. Her hair grew back a little bit patchy because of her age. Oh, okay. In Wyoming. Gotcha. But then recently we noticed that her tumor was growing back. And then she started last weekend, started a little bit of labored breathing, just slowing down. And I was like, at her age, he's going to have to start thinking about putting her down because she's not going to be able to withstand being put under again for another surgery. And before he could make that decision, she passed away the other day on her own. So on Saturday, yeah. So he's devastated. And with rats, it's just, they're such good pets, but they just don't live long enough. So it's a lot of loss. Yes, Remy Young, there's the cat. She'll try and get up close to him. He'll watch her like a hawk. And if she tries to get at him, he'll bite her. So it's all good. He's safe. All right. Thanks for coming in. It was good to see you. And of course, now she's going to lay on top of the bearded dragon tank. Let all her hair fall in there like he needs her hair in his tank. It's nice and sunny outside now. It stormed during the night. So yeah, with the whole degloving it now, when a coworker picks up any of our feeder rats by their tails, I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And, sometimes in their minds, they're like, well, the feeders anyway, they're going to die today. And I'm like, yeah, but in the meantime, you don't mistreat them. Degloving is painful. They don't deserve that. So, they haven't got her. They haven't got him yet. When I go to work, he's loose in here, and so are the cats. I actually trust that nothing's going to happen, and he's always fine. That's why I leave his flight feathers. That's why I don't clip his wings, because he can stay away from them. But I'm like, please don't. That's like saying it's okay to abuse these animals because they're going to get butchered for food. Well, no, you don't abuse the animals. Whether they're going to end up dying for our benefit or not for food, that's beside the point. While they're alive, they need to be treated well. And for me, it's the same with feeders. Yes, they're going to be snake food, but we don't need to mistreat them and put them in all that pain beforehand either. Yeah, having her bath on the bearded dragon tank. Yep. She is a very lovable cat now. She wasn't necessarily before. I mean, she still snuggled a little bit, and wanted attention, but she was more independent, will do her own thing. Well, about a little over a month ago, she got spayed, and now she is very, very needy. Very, very needy. Out of all the dogs I've had and losing my Shih Tzu, I'm thinking of getting a snake again. Snakes are awesome. Like, they're so easy as long as you have their temperatures correct. They're so nice, like, and easy to take care of because you only have to, like, you don't have to completely clean out their tanks or their enclosures very often. They poop once a week because they eat once a week, and then you just go in there and all right. You go in there and you scoop out their poop and you're good to go again. They're so easy. They're so easy. I could go away on vacation for a week and not have to worry that they're not getting fed because they don't eat. They wouldn't be eating. Like my snakes, the majority of I'm going to feed one of my ball pythons today. She eats frozen thawed because the live ones scare her, which is really goofy. But my other ones eat live. So my other ones eat on Fridays. Because Fridays is when the new feeders come in. So I'm guaranteed to get what I need. I get a frozen thawed for the other snake, and she eats on Mondays. So other than that, I don't have to worry about that again until the following Friday and Monday. And Friday's when I get the the live ones. That's when I also get the frozen thawed, but I just leave it in the fridge or leave it in the freezer and then I take it out to feed her on Monday. But yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. The Beardy, it's still easy to take care of him. He just has to eat every day. Like today, I'll put him in a container. I take him out of the tank now to feed him his crickets because the crickets hide too easily in there with all their hiding places in his tank. So I'll take him out, put him in a container, throw some crickets in there, and he goes to town eating those. And when he's done, I put him back. You're going to fall right off of that. You're going to roll off. You're getting so involved. The cat is getting so involved in her cleaning, she's going to roll right off the tank. What are you doing, Remy? What you doing? Let's see if I could get him to come over to me by snapping my fingers. Normally, he does. I don't have to call him. I just have to snap my fingers and he comes over. Well, this time he didn't. He came over to me and went, sight, and went back over to the window. But yeah, so I definitely, and that's the nice thing too, it'll be nice when I cut my hours or when they're actually cut, is that I'll have more time here to work with my animals. So I won't feel so rushed or have to cram in all the cleaning in one day, which is a lot, which makes me feel like not doing it. I'll be able to spread it out. Like, okay, Monday I can clean out the guinea pigs. Tuesday I could clean out the chinchilla. Wednesday I could sweep the floor from the bunny. Yada, 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 as opposed to, okay, this is my day off. I got to get it all done today and I can't relax. So that'll be nice. Ugh, I got nerve pain today, guys. That shingles, oh my gosh. And I could still see on my arm where my rash was. But the nerve pain that lingers afterwards, you guys, is, oh. I had a garter snake years ago, but I lost it. Oh, back when I was younger, snakes scared me. And even as an adult, it wasn't until I started working at the pet store that I started, I was like, okay, let me hold this snake. And I have a coworker who has he has a corn snake that is like a puppy dog, like sweetest snake in the world. And he doesn't fly around quietly, you guys. But he's what made me like snakes. This sweet, sweet corn snake. And then I got my corn snake, who was not sweet. She would bite me and all of that. But she's getting nicer now that she's getting older. She's getting nicer. And then I got my ball pythons, which, are nice right off the bat for the most part when they're not scared. And now I've got 3 ball pythons and 2 corn snakes. So, and a couple other coworkers, they got themselves a snake, and I said, beware, because I was told the same thing. Beware, having snakes is addictive. So you get one, it's like eating potato chips. You can't just have one. And I was like, I could totally just do one. Yeah, no, I've got 5 now. So they were right. It's kind of addictive because then there's so many different morphs, different patterns that you're like, okay, now I've got this one. Now I want this one. I mean, both of my ball pythons are all like pretty well the same. I don't have different morphs, but my 2 corn snakes are different. They come in such pretty patterns. That's like, I've got this one now. Now I got to have this one, and this one's really pretty. I would love to have a blue-eyed Lucy ball python. They're completely white with blue eyes. Oh my gosh, but they're expensive. I think we sell blue-eyed Lucy's for like $500. I'd have to have the only way I'm getting a blue-eyed Lucy is if I'm rich, or it just kind of falls into my lap as a surrender or something. But blue-eyed Lucy's are gorgeous. Corn snakes, I should show you. I can go see, I have Snickers in here, but she's going to be a little flippy, like flighty. She's very young. I really don't want to put myself on camera, guys. But I'll have to get into the shot just to get her, unless I do this. Boom. Okay. Give me a second to get her out. She's probably not going to be too thrilled with me. I have to give her some more water anyway. There she is. Hi. Oh, she shed. You shed. Or she's working on a shed. I'm going to have to soak her. She's got some skin on her still. I'll have to soak her. Did you have a shed? What a good girl. Yeah, I'm going to have to soak her. This is what's good about hold on. This is what's good about checking on them occasionally. So there she is. She's very little, but yeah, she needs to soak. She's got some skin that hasn't come off yet. Give her a bit of a soak, and that'll peel right off. See, she flips around a lot. Ah! She bit me. I pissed her off. She bit me. It barely hurt. It feels like Velcro. So I'll put her back because she's mad. Did you bite me? You did. I'm so sorry I pissed you off. There you go. I'll give her water after the live. Yeah, see, I felt it, but it just feels like a little bit of Velcro. She didn't even draw blood. So that's the first time she's bitten me. My ball pythons have never bitten. Babies tend to be a little bit more like that. They're more nervous. So they're more likely to bite. But again, you don't really feel it. I mean, you feel it, but it doesn't really hurt. It's not the kind of feel it where you're like, oh my God, that really hurts. It's not like a dog bite or anything like that. Just feels like getting poked with Velcro. And like I said, their teeth are so small. So she didn't even draw blood. She got me right here, but can't even tell. So, yeah. So when they get a little older, they're a lot less like that. That's how my other one used to be. She bit me multiple times. She would draw blood, but again, it still felt like Velcro. You never want to rip your hand away if they do bite and not let go. Like she totally just bit me and let go. But my other one at one point had bit me and didn't let go at first. And at that point, you don't want to rip your hand away because you will totally break their teeth. But eventually she let go, and yeah, there was like little pin pricks from her teeth, little pin pricks of blood from her teeth. But it again, it didn't feel like anything more than being poked by Velcro. If anything, usually, like you heard me go, ah, when she bit me. That was more of a startled reaction than it wasn't a pain reaction. It was totally a startled reaction because they move quick and all of a sudden, bam, then you're like, oh gosh, she bit me. But yeah, you can't even tell that she got me on my middle finger there. Now, a ball python may draw blood, but again, ball pythons will strike. They call it tagging. They'll bite real quick and then they'll let go, which also really doesn't hurt that much, but they do draw blood. But I've never been bitten by ball pythons. So I'll have to put in I've got in my phone, I've got a app where I keep track of their shedding, their weights, it's called Reptile Buddy. And just hit animals. And here's a list of all my animals. Got Boo and Harley and Keena, Lucille, Lumi, Michael, and Sammy. I don't really put anything in here for Sammy because he hardly ever eats. Like, he'll eat every few weeks because I'll put crickets in there and the crickets will last a while. So Snickers is down here on the bottom. And I have in here 2 days ago that she ate a Pinky. Her weight, she's 10 grams the last time I weighed her. And now we're going to go up here to actions. And then she shed. And I'm going to assume she shed yesterday. So we're going to change the date to the 20th. So now save, and now it's in there that she shed. So yeah, I keep track of all of that. It's pretty cool. It's a free app too. I can show you Boo. That was Snickers. I can show you Boo, and you can see a little bit how much bigger she is. She's still very small, and she's still eating Pinkies as well, but she's definitely bigger than Snickers, if you would like to see her. And Boo was missing in the house for 5 months. So I thought she would be just as bitey as she was before she went missing, but she's not, which is funny because she was not being handled for the entire 5 months that she was missing, obviously. And I thought she was dead. And then she turned up, and she's calmed down a lot. I mean, she's still a little flippy, but she hasn't bitten me since I've gotten her back. She's definitely bigger. All right, I'll go get her. Hang on. She's in my animal room. Get off of me, please. I have a snack. You gotta get off. Thank you. All right. So here she is. She's much bigger. I don't have to have a strong grip on her like I used to and like I do with Snickers because she's calming down. So she's an albino diffused. I'm not quite positive what Snickers is. I think she's just a normal, everyday color, a normal morph. Yeah, but this is Boo. She would be bigger than this had she not gone missing. But since she was missing for 5 months, she hadn't been eating. So therefore, not very much growth. But I couldn't just have my hand open like this before with her. I had to actually grip her like I was gripping Snickers. But now she's a lot calmer. She's not flipping all over the place. She's much more pleasant to handle than she used to be. Oh, Pinky Mice. So, oh, it's all right. I never thought I'd see her again after she went missing, because this is she's a small snake, and when there's so many places they could hide. All right, I'm gonna go put her back. And what's funny with corn snakes is that when they're angry, they'll shake their tails really fast because it's like they're trying to scare you away. They think they're rattlesnakes. And they will totally try and scare you away by rattling their tails, even though they don't make any noise. It's quite funny. All right, I'm going to go put her back. Also wanted to show you this girl. This is Kina, and she literally just shed. She's got a little bit still on her head. I'll help her out with that. But she literally was in the process of shedding because I just touched the skin that's in her tank and it's still damp, which means like it hasn't been sitting there very long. Otherwise, it would have been drying out. So she literally just shed. She didn't eat Friday because she was in blue, which meant that she was getting ready to shed. But she's pretty much all shed except for what's on her head. She's nice and bright. Oh my gosh. They look so beautiful when they have a fresh shed. But I'll help her out with what's on her head, or she may get the rest of it off on her own in the tank. But I love her, love her, love her. She's such a gorgeous girl. But yeah, she's got a little bit of shed left on her head there that needs to come off. Yeah, Boo, that corn snake I just showed you. Yes, she was the one I found in the basement. I was supposed to give my frogs pinkies, but I did goldfish. Yeah, you could totally do that too. Yeah, she's a gorgeous snake, and she has some scars on her back here. But after several sheds, that'll go away. Like right here. She ended up having injuries from her last owner. But after several sheds, that'll fade and go away. She's so good. Like, she's totally got her head over by my fingers. I can pet the top of her head usually. She's never bitten. She loves the camera. See that? She'll come right up and look at it. Hi. Yeah, she's a good snake. I didn't feed her Friday because when they're in blue, they can't see very well. And sometimes they're grumpier when they're in blue. So I just, since she does eat live rats, if she didn't want to eat, I wasn't going to be wanting to take care of the rat, getting attached, and then try and feed it to her the next week. So I just skipped her this week. And she'll get a chance to eat this Friday. Now that she's freshly shed, and I'll have to open up my my app and write in there that she shed today. Yes. I can help you out with that skin. Yeah, I got a little bit of it. She's still going to have to get the rest of that off of her head. Yes. And if she's got any on her eyes, that has to come off too. Got to get that shed off of your head, huh? Obviously, when they're full grown, they're a lot bigger, these snakes, but they're a lot calmer right from the get-go, even when they're babies. Now, my youngest ball python is a little more nervous, and she was in striking stance a lot, but he moved. But she never did bite me, and the more you handle them, the more comfortable they're going to get. So she doesn't really get in striking stance anymore with me, that like she used to. She's still nervous in comparison to the other ball pythons, but again, has never bitten. Females, I happen to have all my snakes are girls. I don't know how I managed that, but females do get a little larger than males. So there is that. But they're very, very good. Like, corn snakes are very good beginner snakes because they don't necessarily need a very high humidity. My corn snakes are on aspen bedding, whereas ball pythons do need a higher humidity. So they're on eco earth. So their temperature requirements or their humidity requirements are different. And sometimes it can be hard to keep the humidity high enough for a ball python, which is why I am actually upgrading mine. This one here is the only one that's in a plastic bin, whereas the others are in tanks. When they're in tanks, the humidity is higher to keep, or it's harder to keep the humidity up. The tank, it's a lot easier. Or the bin, sorry, is a lot easier. So I'm going to be upgrading the others to bins. And then I can use the tanks for the corn snakes rather than keeping them in their critter keepers. Right now, Keena's enjoying herself. She's going up my sleeve in my shirt. And again, like, I could set her down on the bed and she'll hang out on the bed. They like to hang out on me, kind of thing. Whereas the baby corn snakes at that point, they're like, if you put them down, you might lose them because they are very quick when they're babies. And she's totally going inside my shirt. I'm basically holding her tail at this point. She's looking for heat. So your body heat, like if you since they need the heat, they need the heat as well for digesting their food. So if you ever have the issue where your power goes out, the best thing to do is hold on to them. Some people will have generators or whatever, which is great, and it's harder when you have multiple snakes. But if you don't have multiple snakes, if you hold them, your body heat is perfect. I do have a couple. I have a tarantula, and a few days ago or earlier in the week, I actually found myself a jumping spider. I've wanted a jumping spider. You can get them captive bred, but sometimes, and especially their colors, they can get expensive. I just found mine behind the house. He's black with white spots on him, and it's harder to see his face because he's black, but he's a pet. He's a pet now. He's in a little tiny little enclosure. Throw little baby crickets in there for him. He's making himself a little home in there. They don't necessarily spin webs. Tarantulas will spin webs, and I noticed that after I fed my tarantula most recently, he's spun himself a nice web. Means they're happy, happy and comfortable. But jumping spiders don't spin webs, but they do leave a trail of silk behind them when they walk, and they'll use that, like if they were to fall, they can catch themselves with that strand of silk. But they'll actually make a little home. They don't consider that spinning a web, but they'll walk around back and forth in wherever they're wanting to make their home, and basically they'll just have a tangle of that silk that they end up. It looks like a web, but it really isn't a web. They don't make webs to catch food. They're pouncers. They jump on their food. So, but he's a cute little guy. He's tiny, so you need a really good camera to be able to zoom in and see their faces. I'm always getting text messages from work. So yeah, I've got Kina half in, half out of my shirt. She's a happy snake. That's what I love about my ball pythons, is that I could sit here and just hang out with them. If I put her on the bed, she'll go up my pant leg, or just curl up in, if I sit cross-legged, she'll curl up in my legs. The corn snakes at this point aren't like that. They'll be like that when they're older and bigger, but at this point they're like, just put me back. Whereas the ball pythons are like, they're fine to hang out. And then, of course, that tank that you see with the lamps on top, that's my Beardy tank. And he's up on top of one of his hides, basking. I'm not quite sure if he's basking under his light or if he's basking in the sun that's coming in. One day he was basking completely in the actual sun rather than his lamp. His favorite thing to do when because I take him a bunch of places. I'll take him to work with me too. I want to socialize him, get him used to being out and hanging out with me or whatever. One of his favorite things to do in the car is sit on the door next to the window and bask in the sun. The only way I put him there, though, is if I can touch it and it doesn't feel extra hot. Like if the sun's been streaming in, if the door is hot to the touch, I won't put him on there because I don't want him to burn his belly. So if it's not hot, I'll put him there and he'll bask in the sun. but you don't want to put him on a hot surface where he'll burn his belly. So who's got pets and what have you got? I've got a lot, as you can tell. She's totally tickling me because she's in my shirt. And I can feel her moving around. Yes, while I'm thinking about it, I'll go back into that app and put down that she shed. All right, so that's in there. She's my biggest ball python, and she got weighed a week ago, and she was 514 grams. She's my biggest snake. Yeah, she's 514 grams. And Lucille, that's my next biggest, is 304 grams. Michael, who's my smallest ball python that eats frozen thawed, is 92 grams. And then Boo is 21 grams, and Snickers is 10. I don't have any pets right now. I don't have any. I don't think you can handle one right now because he has to get it. Oh, gotcha. I love my animals. Like sometimes it's a chore to clean up after them, but I love, like if I'm having a bad day, I just pick one of them to hang out with, and it's so helpful. They just accept you no matter what, like no matter what kind of a mood you're in. They're like, okay, I'll hang out with you. Oh, you're tickling me, girl. You're tickling me. I don't have to rush to put her back. Like the corn snakes are like, okay, can I go back now? I don't have to rush to put her back. She's just like, okay, I'm good. I'm good to hang out here. I'll just go in your shirt. Lucille likes to weave through my hair. Oh, do you see my bearded dragon? He's on top of the plant, looking up. You see him? He's poking up there. He's like, hello, I'm happy. Oh, what are you doing, Goofy? You see what he tried to? It's like he tried to hop out. Weirdo. Is there a cricket you're trying to catch? It's hard to know the age of the snake. We can only guess. Like when they come into the store, we have an idea of how old they are, but it's really hard to tell by their size because, like I said, with Boo, she should be bigger. She'll be a year old in September. She should be bigger, but because she didn't eat, she didn't grow. So you can't base their age on their size. And the other way is like some people power feed, which I don't necessarily agree with power feeding. Power feeding, they'll grow faster, but it also shortens their lifespan a little. And you don't want to really do that. But power feeding, which is either giving them more food when they, like more than one mouse or more than one rat at a feeding, or feeding more often, that just gets them to grow faster. So they're gonna be bigger than the average. So it's really hard to tell by their size how old they are. So you kind of have to have an idea already. Otherwise, you're just guessing. And when it comes to breeding snakes, you go by their weight rather than their age. So they have to hit a certain weight before you can start breeding. She's out of my shirt now. I can feel her behind me on the bed. Hey, Miss Canadian Scrapper, how you doing? The only way you can be 100% about the age of the snake is if whoever bred them knows their hatch date, basically. If they don't know their hatch date, it's going to totally be a guessing game on how old they are. So you're going to have an estimated age. And I'm pretty much guessing that Kina is already a year old, based on her size. Lucille, I got shortly after Boo, and she's smaller than her, smaller than Kina, but still she's, getting to be a good size. She's probably getting close. She's probably, when I got her, she was possibly a couple of months. So she'll be approaching a year ish. Like I said, it's all a guessing game unless you have their hatch date. The nice thing with Remy is I know his age because I do have his hatch date. He turned 2 on May 21st. But the snakes, the breeders don't provide their hatch date. And Snickers is out, so Sage there was just looking at her. Where are you at? I don't want to sit on you. There you go. Hi. And of course, there she is. Well, look at the camera. No, she's gonna back out through my fingers. I totally have her sitting on top of my head, you guys. It's like a snake crown. Oh, I lost everybody. I have like 2 people in here, but that's okay. I've been on for over an hour. I'll probably wrap it up here soon. Like this was like an impromptu live anyway. I was at Miss Southern Bells and she was like, "Hey, Passion, do you want to go live?" And I'm like, "I just woke up, but okay, let me set up." Which is why I'm not showing myself because he. I didn't brush my hair. I got dressed, but that's about as far as that went. Went and got my coffee. Anyway, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Father's Day with if you're a father or if you were with your father, or whatever. Hope you all had a wonderful day. We celebrated Father's Day on Saturday because yesterday my husband had to leave for work. Can't find my cradle to the. Oh no! That's no good. It's okay. Now it says there's 3 people. I was gonna say it says there's 2 people in here, but 3 of you are talking. So I don't know. It's not always accurate now, is it? Hello. Anywho, I'm gonna have to go outside, check on my fish tub, make sure that that didn't overflow. It shouldn't have because it didn't the last time we had a really good rain. Hey, H7, how are you doing? I was just showing off some snakes. There's one. She just finished shedding, or she was shedding. She's still got a little on her head that I have to let her get off, but she literally just did it because I could tell when I went in to get her and I saw that she shed, her skin was still damp. So she literally just did it. Otherwise, it would have been dried out. Which means she's still got to. What she'll probably do when I put her back is she'll rub her head on her hide or, whatever, and that helps get the rest of the skin off. Looking at Remy, looking out the window. We caught a glimpse of Lumi down there in the tank, and when he stood on his plants, he's back on top of his hide basking. What you doing, Remy? You say hello? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? No? When he's not on camera, he talks all the time. Guys, yesterday I was coloring, and he was like, what are you doing? I said, I'm coloring. What are you doing? And then he was quiet, and then he was like, what are you doing? I said, I told you I'm coloring. What are you doing? We'll argue. And then he was like, what a good boy. What are you doing? What are you doing? I really want him to say something for you guys. Yeah. I have my fish tub outside and I have 2 tanks in the house, and my husband has 1. He did have 2, but since he's hardly home now, he condensed and went down to 1. He's got the biggest tank though. His is a 75. I have a 20-gallon and a 2-gallon for my beta, and then my tub outside. What are you doing? There. Did you hear him, guys? He said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm shocked he did it. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, you got it from me once. I'm not doing it again, Mom. Did you hear him, though? What are you doing? What a good. There you go. What are you doing? What are you doing? What a good boy. What are you doing? I gotta turn off the AC so you can hear better. Sometimes he's louder when he says it. Let me see. I'm going to turn off the AC, see if that helps. What are you doing? What are you doing? What a good boy. Oh, now he's going to oink. What are you doing? Come on. You gotta say it again. What are you doing? What are you doing? What a good boy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Really? You're not gonna help me out here? What are you doing, Remy? What a good boy. Did I put you on the spot? Come on, speak. Come on. Speak up. Jeez, Mom. I'm not a trained monkey. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. Woohoo! What a good boy. What a good boy. What are you doing? Yeah, he counted, but he didn't say the numbers. What are you doing? You're not cooperating. You're not cooperating with me, Ram. Nope. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's starting to do that a little bit. There, he tried it. He starts it, but he doesn't finish. Nope, it's not. Never boring. You're not finishing it. You're doing the lazy version of a rooster. Quack. 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 There. Quack. What are you doing? What are you doing? What a good boy. What a good boy. It's like, I know I am. You don't have to keep telling me. Yeah, you like the pig. I'm gonna go put Kina back so she can get the skin off of her head. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna put her back in her thing and she can work on finishing up what she was doing. You gonna talk for them? Hi. What are you doing? You didn't talk. I just heard you. You were squawking. You weren't talking. Huh? You didn't talk. What are you doing? Like, no, I am not a trained monkey. I do it when I want, not what I'm told. Right? What are you doing? What are you doing? I know you can hear me. Your head tilting. What are you doing? Yeah. You're done. You're done performing, huh? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. It's been over an hour and a half, and this wasn't even a planned live, so I think I did well. I'm going to head out. I've got some things I got to do, and I will talk with you guys later. Say bye, Remy. Bye-bye. I got to teach him that. Bye. Have a great day, everybody.